Skeens out to minus 185. Jackson Merrill at 4-1. Imanaga at 5. Joey Ortiz at 11. And then we get to guys like Jared Jones, Michael Busch, Mason Wynn, and others. Yamamoto of the Dodgers expected to be out for a pretty extended period. Now at 50-1, probably can't win. You have a really interesting take on this that I didn't think you were going to have, Ken, on NL Rookie of the Year and where we stand right now, following Imanaga's blow-up and another stellar start from Skeens on Sunday night. Hashtag alliteration.
Yeah, I think I was like a lot of people early in this award market. You had three pitchers at the top. Skeens, not in any order. Skeens, Imanaga, and Yamamoto. They were occupying 85% of the win probability or something like that. You see that many pitchers take that much win probability in May and early June. It seems like a really good market to go in and bet against. And I think a lot of people felt the same way. And it was kind of which position players do you want? And I think even within like the people who bet position players, you could argue about, well, are you a Joey Ortiz guy, or do you like Jackson Merrill, or do you like Mason Wynn, who we brought up on the show as well? Do you like Michael Busch, who got bet way early in the season and has kind of rebounded again to find his form? Like, who do you like of the position players? That was more the argument. Yamamoto gets hurt, he bows out. I think he's very unlikely to win. Imanaga can definitely still win. He just took a huge hit to his chances by a 10 earned or 11 earned, whatever it was in that start on Friday. And so it's like, or Friday or Saturday, whatever day it was, over the weekend. Friday. He was ahead in both wars, B War and F War, Baseball Reference and Fangraphs. You want to be number one in this among rookies. Takes a huge step backwards. I mean, he is, depending on which one you want to use, 5th, 6th now, off one start. And so a lot of ground to make up. This is why it's very difficult for starting pitchers to win this award. 1 or 2 blow-up starts just makes it so you have no margin for error. Rookie pitchers a lot of times don't pitch very many innings. So just your margin for error is very small. So I get the position player thing to a certain extent, kind of up to like right now. Now Yamamoto's out. Now Imanaga maybe is kind of out, or at least way less likely to win. So it's happened. Like, if you bet the position players, you've gotten a lot of the results that you want. Jackson Merrill was 30 a week ago. Now he's 4. Like, you got what you wanted. Ortiz was 30, 40, 50. Now he's 11. Like, you won, kinda. You got what you wanted. Now I think we have to ask a really honest question here. And I think in both Rookies of the Year, it's actually a different answer now, and it wasn't before. And I think is there a vulnerable favorite in the market? And I think in the AL, your answer to that can absolutely be, I think the right answer is yes. Like, we talked about Luis Gil. He may not even stay in the rotation. He may take time off. There are all kinds of non-performance related reasons why the favorite for AL Rookie of the Year is vulnerable. And like, you could say, well, he also got lit up against the Orioles. Icing on the cake. But the point is, there were still a bunch of reasons to think that he was a vulnerable favorite, somebody you wanted to bet against. I think we have to be really honest about, like, it is unclear whether Paul Skeens is now a vulnerable favorite. Not he's definitely not vulnerable, not he's going to win, but like start after start, as he keeps putting up like a tremendous amount of wins above replacement in the starts that he pitches, like in his next start, it's very reasonable he'll slot in like second among all rookies in WAR in one more start. So like, yeah, he was way behind and he has no margin for error. And it doesn't matter because he just keeps doing this. So like with each start, we have to at least be like, well, yeah, it's possible. I mean, if we have this question about like who looks like a superstar in the National League, your number one answer is Jeff Passan's trying to get him in the All-Star game. Like this is like, it's just a thing that's happening. And I think I always try to identify award markets first and foremost. Is there a vulnerable favorite? How vulnerable do I think they are? In the AL, I think Luis Gil is insanely vulnerable. I'm dying to bet against him every day of the week right now. And I have been for a long time, and it's going great so far. And it needs to keep going great because it's how I'm going to make a lot of money in that market. In the NL, when there are the 3 pitchers together and it's very early, I think that's a vulnerable situation. We don't know nearly enough at that point about the pitchers. Their margin for error is very small. As Skeens keeps stacking performances, you'd be dumb not to change your mind at least a little bit on how possible this is and how likely he is to win. I don't think he's a bet right now. I don't agree with the price. But if you ask me who I think the most likely player is to win this award, even if it's by a little bit over other players, I think he's the most likely player to win this award. Stuff can still go wrong. He can still not pitch. Stuff can happen, but not nearly as bullish on like dumping money into this market as the AL market right now.
When we always talk about how pitchers kind of have to walk like a fine line with these awards, more so than batters, because you have one blow-up start, see Imanaga on Friday, and you take such a hit and like have to and you have to make all of that up, and you don't get to play every day. You're only pitching once every 5 days. So I guess if the thought is that Skeens could just keep doing this, which is an incredibly fair thought because he's been ridiculously dominant since he was called up, first overall pick in last year's draft. If he just keeps doing this, and look, like, probably have one start where he allows like 3 or 4 runs. Hard to imagine he's going to have like a Pedro Martinez, like 1999 style season. Maybe, though. If he's going to have one of these seasons and he doesn't have like a massive blow-up start, like an Imanaga, even like to a lesser degree what Luis Gil had last week for the Yankees, does he just win Cy Young? Does he just win not just Rookie of the Year, but Cy Young also?
So, I mean, I have to say that there's, like, I can't dismiss this entirely, right? It would be silly to just be like, well, it can never happen. It could happen. Like, who am I to say it can't happen? If he does this every single start the entire rest of the season, can he win Cy Young? Yeah, sure. Sure he could. Would you ever bet on it? Probably not. Probably wouldn't bet on it. Just in like a lot of the things that have tended to matter statistically, he is still, partly because of the number of starts that he's made versus other pitchers who have started the whole year. There's very little track record for like not starting the whole year and then winning Cy Young anyway. Like you're playing a game of catch up. Clayton Kershaw famously did it one time, missed like a month of the season to start. Like pitched once, missed a month of the season, and then was still able to win, and it was not his first win, so he had kind of the reputation of being Clayton Kershaw already in tow. I think that's the only example memory serves like last 15, 20 years of that happening. That's what Skeens is up against to a certain extent of just trying to make up ground. Really tough to do. Now, obviously, it's much easier to make up ground on rookies because there aren't very many of them and they're not as good than it is to make up ground on Ranger Suarez and Zach Wheeler and Chris Sale and a bunch of Tyler Glasnow and a bunch of the other candidates for Cy Young. So can it happen? I mean, I can't say it can't. Would I bet it even at very long prices? 66 to 1, 100 to 1, 75 to 1, something like that. Maybe the price is likely to go down a little bit, but if you think he's going to keep doing this for a while, is he very likely to be a winner or even more likely than that price to be a winner? I have to still say no to that right now, but we could look in a month. We could feel differently. In 2 months, we could feel differently. I don't like betting kind of fringe candidates like this in a really like a veteran-laden award historically. I think it's just much more likely that he gets enough I think it's the most likely outcome here is he gets enough WAR to win Rookie of the Year or contend for it, but does not accumulate enough or does not have the type of season to win Cy Young. He kind of comes in right in that middle ground.